Patti LaBelle and Candy Burris were on, and we gave Patti LaBelle a plate of crabs. But I always wanted to say that I gave Patti LaBelle crabs because I thought it was so funny.
It's amazing. Somebody gonna cue me or do I cue myself?
Cue yourself.
Okay.
Okay, hi.
Season 2.
Another episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Off Camera.
Yes.
Let's get talking. Do we have to announce it's season 2 with every new episode?
No, we don't. But we do have a season 1 favorite joining us.
That's true. We have a season 1 favorite today, Andy Cohen. Bravo. Wow. Honcho. I like the word honcho. Sometimes in the tabloids, they refer to Andy as the Bravo honcho. And that makes me laugh more than anything. I'm like, you're a honcho now.
That's hilarious.
He just co-hosted with you yesterday, and I loved it so much. Like, he's got such a fun energy.
He does.
He's like a kid in a candy shop.
He really is. And just... watching the joy with which he stumped our trivia caller. Not since Mark Consuelos have I seen an energy like that.
But his erratic questioning of the trivia caller, I was thinking, he's not going to win this. It was.
I think he just got lucky. It was a coin toss moment for Andy, but it was a great. His reaction is great.
Yeah.
He's such a contrarian. You know, like even him announcing that he's anti-gay wedding was like
I laughed out loud, and then I heard people were groaning. And
I guffawed. I literally
died.
guffawed.
He has this look of like, I can't believe that I'm sitting in this chair whenever he's co-hosting.
It's complete mischief every time. I see him as Andy from Camp Nabagaman.
Yes,
like every time.
It's so different than every other Andy. It's a different Andy.
It is.
So after the podcast today, everybody's going to come to my house for Seder.
Oh, yes.
Passover Seder.
What is this? What will you be serving at Passover Seder?
So you start with the actual Seder, which is the matzah, the haroset, all that stuff. After that,
and then when do we read? Why is tonight different?
Yeah,
okay. And why is tonight different?
Is Albert the wicked child? We should do a reading tonight.
Yes. Which child am I? Which child am I?
I'm
the wicked child.
You're the wicked child. He'll be the simple child. Yeah.
Yeah, the simple child. Yes, I like that.
Anyway, so then afterwards, it's matzo ball soup, gefilte fish, which some people either love or hate.
I detest.
I detest too.
Detest. Do you have to eat it?
No,
you don't have to.
No. And then
who are they making gefilte fish for? Can I ask that question?
I think it's just tradition at this point, so people just love it.
It's not tradition because I was served it at somebody's house for lunch, and we all sort of stared at each other, thinking, "Is this real?" I was very skinny after that lunch.
I'm sure.
I moved it around on my plate like a dutiful.
Then it's like brisket, usually like chicken, Albert's going to get hungry now.
Yeah.
Usually some greens, like a broccoli or something. Okay.
Get to the potatoes.
There's some potatoes, just nothing with like bread, So then dessert is like a flourless chocolate cake, a chocolate covered matzah, like those kind of desserts.
Will there be manischewitz?
There'll be manischewitz galore, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which I hear manischewitz is now trying to appeal to the younger generation. They're doing a whole new like rebrand to try to attract. Did you see that?
So what does that entail?
I don't know.
What does that entail? Jake Cohen. Get Jake Cohen. Jake and Andy Cohen. Two guys that could rebrand manischewitz.
Try to attract the younger demo.
Okay. Meanwhile, it's like, I have to say, I like him and haw about all this stuff, especially when it's at my house. But to be honest, it's like so nice. Like when you actually sit down and you're with family and friends and whatnot.
What is it, 3 days?
It's 2 nights, and we have 12 people coming to our house tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Who does the cooking?
Well, because Glenn had been, sick for so long, and we weren't even sure. Yeah, Glenn's paying back now. No,
Glenn's in the kitchen.
One of our friends was like, "What are you doing for Passover?" This was like a month ago, and I was like, "I don't even know when Passover is at this point. Like my head is underground." And they said, "We're going to bring it to you." So
amazing.
They're bringing the entire meal to us.
You should keep Glenn sick as long as possible.
Well, he's starting to feel better.
You should
so
phantom thread him. Just give him a little.
What is that, like Munchausen?
Just a little tiny bit of poison. Yes, just a little bit of poison. Just keep him mildly ill, And so everybody does everything for you. That's so nice.
Yeah, it's very sweet. So I set the table and I will be rolling up on the dinner.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth. Amazing.
Yeah.
I've been watching, I don't know how I clicked on this. Maybe it's because I followed Jake Cohen, but now I have a lot of matzo recipes in my feed. And I've been watching this grilled tomato and cheese matzah sandwich where you wet the they fold it.
I've been seeing that on Instagram.
Don't you want to make that?
I'm obsessed with making it now, and I don't like
that.
to make anything. Like I don't cook, but I'm like I need to make that.
You know what's so funny is I've saved that
so
recipe
good.
like 30 times in my feed, and you think that I would go back and revisit and make it. I just like watching them make it, and then I go, that looks delicious.
Somehow I would fuck that up, but I swear to God, it looks so good.
Doesn't it look
so
good?
The other thing I'm a little obsessed with now, and I'm kind of torturing Albert right now, is did you see his dog has his own Instagram account?
Oh, yeah.
Can we for a second?
Oh, for
Can we
Christ's
for a
sake.
second talk about this? I mean, Albert.
So
I can't.
I never would have done it. And then all of a sudden, I was seeing a lot of people are doing it. I'm thinking, listen, I don't want to post photos of him all over my Instagram. Let's create a separate account.
I mean,
and then do it. So Kyle,
I'm pre-blocking.
fucking dog.
Where's my phone?
Kyle said,
Show me how to block it.
Kyle once said to me, and this made me laugh so much. He's like, his name is Freddie, but his professional name is Fred Poodleman. So his Instagram account is Fred Poodleman.
And his bio is, like all gay dogs, I was born on Madonna's birthday.
Yes, it is. It says Madonna's birthday in his bio. So for my 50th,
this is the worst.
Oh, is gonna die. This
is gonna be over
brings
the top.
everybody into this.
Am
story.
I gonna be enraged?
Oh,
Yes,
enraged.
yes.
I'm enraged,
Getting
but
you
you're also
riled
going to
up.
be in Central Park in a few weeks. So
Okay.
I'll explain why.
Okay.
For my 50th last year, Audrey bought me a photo shoot for Rufus.
Kelly's stylist.
Kelly
is
Stylist
downstairs.
Audrey bought me Carmen, the pet photographer, like a session with Rufus. It was a really thoughtful gift knowing me and my obsession with. Sadly, Rufus passed away a few months later, and then I never used the thing. And this woman kept following up with me, and I said, listen, he passed away, and I'm like, we're maybe getting a new dog. So like, I don't know, a month or so ago, she reaches out, and she says, hi, just checking in. I wanted to see if you guys got a new dog. So we got a new dog, and I'm like, well, talk me through this. Like, what is this photo shoot?
Photo shoot.
And where is it? She's like, well, a lot of people like to do them in Central Park because the backdrops.
I will be there disrupting that photo shoot.
I said, how long is the photo shoot? So she's like, it's like 2 to 3 hours. I said, when do you do it? She goes, it doesn't matter. Like we could do like a weekday morning or we can do a weekend.
I'm going to show up as the ghost of Rufus. Even if I'm not in town, I will get back to town because I cannot with you.
I mean, that's insane. That's insane. Wait, so how do you feel being back in New York?
I'm really shocked at how tired I am. It's
Yeah.
so funny because I wasn't in Morocco for very long, but just long enough that on the final night I flipped over to Morocco time, and now I'm on Morocco time.
Oh boy. I have a question for you about the said friends of mine that were at the wedding.
Yes.
So I get a text message that reads, and I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Saw K&M. Robbie was auditioning to take your spot on the podcast. He clearly has an agenda this weekend. And I said, were they biting? And then Robbie then replies, they've already offered me a 2-week trial with a mutual extension.
So our favorite part of this was we were seated across from Scott Ellis.
Oh
okay?
my God. Which, by the way, your head must have blown off
Oh,
your body.
we just all had the best time. It was like all of our people together, right? There were all of these speeches and they were all great. One showstopper after another. And then there was one person that got up and she's sort of like a yoga and meditation specialist and she is lovely. And then she said, I'd like to ask everyone to join hands while I take us through a guided sort of intention.
My favorite. This
So-
is now my favorite part of the entire trip.
Robbie, unfortunately for Robbie, he has one of my hands.
That's my favorite.
Mark has my other hand as I begin to slowly crush their hands. So now I look up and I lock eyes with Scott Ellis, who is looking at me and I begin to go.
Oh, no.
So now
Your hands are shaking.
I'm vibrating, but I'm crushing Robbie and Mark's hands. And Robbie is like, ow. Because I can't, I'm a toddler. I cannot be still
That's my
or
favorite
quiet.
part of your trip.
I can't be still or quiet. I could not get a hold of myself.
I love it.
It was awful,
love
but
it.
also great.
I love
but
it.
poor Robbie,
Okay.
I'm sure his hand has not.
Andy is ready to
Andy's
go.
on?
Let's do it. Let's get going.
Boy.
Hi.
Today, everyone, we are joined by one of my best friends and season 1 favorite, Andy Cohen. Andy, when did you start being known as Bravo Honcho? Have you noticed that they like to refer to you as a Bravo Honcho now?
Well, the irony is I'm not a Bravo Honcho. I
know,
to
but
be.
once you became not a Bravo Honcho and more an on-air personality, then you started being referred to as a honcho.
I know, it's very weird. By the way, Honcho was the name of my first gay porno magazine that I fell in love with and that my mom found under my bed when I was a kid. I mean, not a kid, I mean in high school. And her shrink told her to stop going under my bed to see if the pornography was still there. It was like an alcoholic trolling bars, basically.
Well, Albert, every year for my birthday, buys me a copy of Latin Inches.
Another classic.
Classic. It is a
You have to
classic.
go into the vault to get it. You have to buy it from collectors.
I know, and I have a full collection. The first year he gave it to me, he didn't tell me what it was, and I opened it at the dinner table in front of my children.
Oh my God. Now, is
yes.
that still the working title of Mark's autobiography?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Got it.
Yes, the one I'm writing
Yes.
for him.
Yes.
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 So you are a regular live co-host. You just filled in. We were just before you signed on talking about how brilliant you
Thank
are.
you.
And
So
how
good.
you host our show with an energy like nobody else.
Well,
You host the show with the energy of a person who truly doesn't give a shit, which is the key to hosting the show.
well, I got a lecture from my mom after I hosted your show.
About what?
Well, she said, you were screaming the entire time you were on that show. And I said, yes, I was overly excited, as I tend to be when I am on that show. So
But we all scream on the show. I think I blame our audience.
you blame
Because they are excited too. And the more excited we get, the more excited they get, and the louder it all
It's
gets.
so true.
And you find yourself shouting.
You also have 180 people out there, which is so many people.
It's twice as many as they're supposed to be. I've spoken to Gelman about this.
Kelly, stop.
No, I have spoken to Gelman about.
Stop. It's such a good energy.
Yeah, Kelly wishes she was still living in COVID times.
Peak COVID was my favorite time.
And by the way, it is 7 times larger than my audience of 25 people, by the way.
Oh my gosh, is that Ben?
Yeah, that's Ben. Hey, Ben. Ben, I'm talking to Mima.
Does he care about Mima anymore? I haven't seen him in so long.
He does care about Mima, yes.
Can you believe what a death trap your home
No.
is now?
I can't.
Isn't it amazing? I remember when you were building it, and I was like, when he has kids, this is gonna be a death
I
trap.
totally, when I built it, I looked at that staircase even then, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm trying to injure my children. It is incredible how well they've navigated my staircase, though. I'm really impressed.
They become resilient kids. They
Yes.
really learn
Yeah,
by
right.
trial and error. Has Ben had stitches yet?
No. Oh, yes, he has. What am I saying? Yes, he has.
Yes. Did Dr. Jetter do his stitches? Have we talked about this?
No. This doctor at the local little hospital down the street did them.
Sarah Jessica Parker's brother-in-law is one of the great pediatric plastic
that is
surgeons.
true. Yes,
he stitches together all the chins and foreheads of every.
Some of the more prominent families of New York.
No,
City.
and like the whole ethical culture Fieldston community had like a running account with him because,
as I said, the prominent families of the city.
Yes, the titans of the Upper West Side. So, can you believe that Watch What Happens Live is 15 years old?
No, I actually cannot.
When you did that first show with Danielle Staub, I believe it was.
Yes.
Did you think it would go to that second episode where Mark and I did a Skype from a computer in a hotel room in Maine?
I thought it would go to the second episode, but I did not think it would go beyond, or I didn't even allow myself to think that it would go beyond the initial order, which was for 12 half-hour episodes once a week at midnight.
Mark and I, after we signed off, said, we've just put a nail in that show's coffin.
No, you didn't. As a matter of fact, you didn't. You actually proved two things. It was incredible because the two of you, two big stars, showed up, but also we had you by Skype, which nobody else was really doing at that time. So it actually showed, oh, wait, I can kind of prostitute my friends to get on this show.
Well, what was so amazing was we were in this hotel in Maine where we couldn't make a cell phone call, and somehow we were able to Skype with you. It was one of the great miracles in broadcast
and if I
history.
recall correctly, the service was not incredible, but it didn't really matter.
It didn't seem to matter because the show has been about your enthusiasm for 15 years.
Thank you.
And I think that when you have an enthusiastic host who is interested and interesting, I think that makes great television.
And here is the microphone that you and Mark gave me my first week that the show came out, and it's still on the shelf. And it says,
so
Watch
glad
What
to
Happens
see it.
Live, host Andy Cohen, July 16th, 2009. And I still have, you know what? I should actually put this in the clubhouse. Is where it should go.
Why isn't that in the
I'm
clubhouse?
going to put it in tonight.
So tell me about the first year at the show and what you guys went through, and tell me the ups and the downs of it all.
Oh my gosh. There was a night that we called the She by Sheree Black Tie Fashion Spectacular. And it was celebrating all things She by Sheree. And it was right around the time that Sheree threw the fashion show with no fashions. And and I had a black tie on, and during the commercial break, Michael Davies, my executive producer, along with Deirdre Connolly, came in the studio and said, come out for a second. He said, we're not actually on the air, but don't tell Sheree. And I said, what has happened? And I don't even remember what happened, but we weren't on the air, and we continued doing the episode as though we were. And then Sheree, I think during the next commercial break, said, people on Twitter are saying we're not on. And I was like, oh, there's been, I don't know, and so that was something that happened. We had a night where Patti LaBelle and Candy Burris were on, and we gave Patti LaBelle a plate of crabs. But I always wanted to say that I gave Patti LaBelle crabs because I thought it was so funny. Oh, no, leave that, Ben. Now Ben is playing with the microphone. No, it's not plugged in. Say hi to me, Ma. Oh, anyway, he ran away. And then when I gave her the crabs, somehow the lights went out in the studio. We had a lot of weird a fire alarm went off one night.
I remember all of those episodes. I watched it religiously every single night. Now I'm the worst because now the more convenient it is for me to watch,
the less.
I just DVR every episode and then.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll come look in a minute. Okay. I'm talking to Meemaw. Okay. Tell Meemaw you say hello, Ben. Okay. He won't perform on demand. He won't perform on command anymore. It's very annoying.
So who was your favorite guest that you've had on? Like, and I know that's it. People ask me this, and I hate this question.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you've been doing it. How many years have you been doing it?
24. And
oh my God!
Every year I'm like, this is the
I know
show.
you've retired like 50 times in our friendship. 24 years.
Andy has seen me retire. I've retired in front of him many times.
You have. And by the way, I was an advocate of you retiring a few of those times. I was like, you need to retire.
15 years
now
ago.
that Mark is there,
I know. Now I'm glad.
You better not retire.
But we did have that moment together where
we did the exercise several times.
But Andy backstage, he goes, "Why didn't they hire Mark after Regis?" And I was like,
"Yeah, I was like, Mark should have replaced Regis." Like
we like to do things the hard way at live. So, but I have a few like favorite guests. Like, I love the night. I think it was Regina King and
Jackie and Regina King.
Yes, I loved that episode so much. I remember laughing my ass off the entire episode.
Yes, they were
smashed, but I probably was also smashed, and I just loved.
Yes, I probably was too. It was so off the rails that I thought, oh wow, I had no control over anything. And I was really freaking out. And I was thinking, wow, this is bad. I thought, oh, this is maybe not good.
I have a few like favorite guests. I love the night. I think it was Regina King and
Jackie and Regina King.
Yes, I loved that episode so much. I remember laughing my ass off the entire episode.
Yes, they were smashed,
but I probably was also smashed, and I just loved.
Yes, I probably was too. It was so off the rails that I thought, oh wow, I had no control over anything. And I was really freaking out. And I was thinking, wow, this is bad. I thought, oh, this is maybe not good.
I thought it was great.
And then during the commercial break, Deirdre, my executive producer, said, this is amazing.
It's amazing TV.
And she said, we are trending #1 on Twitter worldwide. And I was like, oh, this is
Give the
great.
people what they want.
But I think my favorite guest was Oprah because it meant a lot to me. I have no relationship with Oprah Winfrey. And it meant a lot to me that she said yes to being on the show and that she like came down to Soho in the middle of nowhere to do the show. So I just thought, wow, it just felt like a big deal
like an anointing.
To me. Yeah, like an anointing. Like, oh, we're doing something that someone's paying attention to. That felt really good. And in the beginning, it felt really good. I did lean on my friends a lot. It felt really good when Joan Rivers did the show, just because when she co-hosted with Johnny on The Tonight Show, that was like a holiday in my house. And it meant a lot that she would come down and do the show.
What's the weirdest thing that's been whispered to you during the commercial break?
My executive producer told me once in year maybe 3 that one of the 2 guests was going to walk because she was furious with how it was going. And it was a actual celebrity, a movie star. And I was like, oh my God. And then she goes, the publicist says she's walking because the publicist had come out during the commercial break. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then I remember trying to kind of talk her off the
ledge. Yeah. But what was going so wrong? Like, were you even aware that it was going wrong?
Well, oh God, I'll tell you, I very stupidly brought up something as we were going to commercial break that I guess was very sensitive to this person. And I thought she got out of it just fine. But the second guest hadn't heard about this thing. And then the second guest was like, wait a minute, what? You did what? And then was really leaning into it. And it was and I was like, oh God, oh God. And Deirdre's like, go to break. and the second guest was like making her re-explain it, and it was all, and the second guest was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's what. Anyway, it was not great.
Now I'm trying to figure out.
I know, I can see you, the wheels spinning.
You will never will figure it out.
All right. Well, I'll text you later. Was there any games that you regret playing at Watch What Happens Live?
Oh my God. We played some games early on that would not pass muster today, because we've always been politically incorrect, and they were politically incorrect then, but they're politically incorrect now to the point where it would be very bad if we played that now.
What do you think about Rihanna being a Bravo super fan? I am
It's so
we were talking
great.
to Kyle Richards on this here podcast,
Right.
and she was talking about Rihanna knowing every aspect of everything about the Housewives.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I was in LA for the Oscars, but the people that were coming up and wanting to talk about the Housewives, it was really cool. I mean, I'm at a party with Julia Roberts, who wants to speak with me about these shows. That is incredibly gratifying. And every so often, I got my, Rihanna's been talking about the Housewives for a long time. And then finally, and she's following all these Housewives. Finally, I got my first DM from Rihanna like a year and a half ago and it was about, she was like, you're cracking me up tonight on the Jersey reunion. I was like, oh my God. I was so excited. So, and then she's DM'd about a couple other things, and it's very cool. I mean, listen, the fact that Nicki Minaj wanted to host the Potomac reunion show, and we brought her out and let her host an hour of the show, was really incredible.
I mean, Nicki Minaj, I believe, follows me because she followed you, and maybe we posted something together, and suddenly I noticed Nicki Minaj was following me, and I was like, okay. It's like when somebody really big follows you, you're like, how do I not fuck this up? Right?
I know. It's so true. You, by the way, does Nicki Minaj do your show?
Yeah. She does. She does my show. Yeah. She does. Obviously, she does your show.
Yeah, she has. Is there anyone who has not done your show? Can you name one person?
Oh, I can name lots of people.
Is Taylor Swift?
Yeah, Taylor Swift has done our show a lot. I will say she's been good about doing our show. Not done our show.
Everybody.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe they haven't come back. But
I'm trying to think. Al Pacino hasn't done our show.
That's it. Oh my God.
I don't think. Who's
Lucas
that?
peeking in.
Come in. My version of Ben is here. My version of Ben is here. Look who's here. Say hi.
Hi, Andy.
You got to speak into the mic.
Mark, look what I have.
I remember that so much. Oh, that's the mic we gave you.
Yeah.
What's it? Is there a date on that?
Yeah. July 16th, 2009. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago.
I'm celebrating my 15th anniversary. That's what I'm talking to your wife
Okay.
about.
Well, I just want to say hi and then hey, thank you for yesterday, by the way.
You bet.
I really
loved
Did
it.
you beat the lady?
Thanks.
Did you take the mug away from the lady?
You know I did on your behalf. And it felt real good.
Did you rub it in?
I did. I gloated. Yeah.
Good. See, I can't do that. I have to pretend not to gloat.
Oh,
that's
really?
when you're the
I
permanent-
heard that you gloat. Oh, really?
He did. No, he used to gloat.
I grin. I grin. Sometimes I flex a little bit, but I can't really do like a full like what you did, I heard.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I did. And then I called her husband, and then I disparaged her husband. So then I felt bad.
Well, no, you disparaged her. You called her
disparaged
husband
her.
long-suffering.
Yes, I did.
Long-suffering.
Yes, I did.
All right. I love you both. I'm out
Love
of here.
you.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go and make some phone calls. Business.
Oh, business.
That's a lie. He's going to smoke a cigar.
Yeah, that's exactly
He's going to
what
go
I'm gonna
work on his autobiography, Latin Inches.
Bye, Andrew.
Bye.
So, how many people? Because I'm going off of the the Tori Spelling headline that she has pitched herself to be a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. And has she?
You know, it's weird. It's all kind of played out in the press. It's never been a real conversation, I don't think.
She thinks she's had a real conversation.
We talked about it a little. We kind of danced around it on Watch What Happens Live once during a commercial break, I think, or maybe even on the show. But we've never really had a real conversation about it.
You know, Kyle also said that she really loves the idea of Hilaria Baldwin becoming a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, I will say only this. Well, first of all, I don't believe that Hilaria Baldwin lives in Beverly Hills.
When has that ever stopped anyone?
Well, I mean, I believe she lives in New York, right?
What about the Real Housewives of New York?
Well, we actually had a discussion with her a little while ago about that.
And, if she's a new Real Housewife, I'll never get it out of Michael, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. No, she's not a new Real Housewife. And it was just, I would say it was an exploratory conversation and it didn't go much further, but it is certainly an interesting idea. But it was funny because I read that Kyle had said that on your podcast. And I thought, oh, well, that's funny because we did speak to her a couple of years ago.
Would you ever consider doing a separate show with just the Baldwins? I mean, they seem like the modern day Partridge Family.
Not a bad idea. I wonder how Alec would feel about surrendering control of his portrayal to someone else.
You know, he's got all these young kids.
Yeah.
And I just find that very funny. I find the concept.
I think that's keeping up with the Baldwins, keeping up with the Baldwinitos.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, look at how rich Ryan Seacrest is.
I know.
This could be
very
you.
True.
This could be you.
True. I know. Now, do I not have enough on my plate with the zillions of housewives? Do I need the late night calls from Alec and Hilaria about everything? I don't know. I don't know.
Change your
I have
phone
two
number.
little children. No, I would need to take that on. I do, Ben. Ben goes, you do have two little children.
That's true. You do have your own kids to worry about. You don't need to worry about the Baldwinitos, but
It would be a good show, though.
Ben, would you come say goodbye to me before you leave, please?
where's he going?
He is going to swim practice.
Oh,
Yes.
swim practice.
He's a very well-rounded child.
He is.
There's a
Can
lot
you
of
imagine?
activities.
It was like when we were kids, our parents
Oh.
provided no activities.
Oh, no. It was like dinners at sunset, go play.
Go watch The Facts of Life.
Or, go watch the Brady Bunch.
Right,
Come
that's it.
upstairs in 3 hours.
Right, that's it.
Yes, you're right.
So what about Bette Midler pitching herself for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? So what about Bette Midler pitching herself for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
I believe she was just joking.
Yeah, but isn't there a little truth in every joke?
Well, there may be. But again, do you think that Bette Midler wants to surrender her portrayal to me and a bunch of producers? I don't.
Do any of the housewives have editorial approval?
No.
None.
No.
None.
No. And I will guarantee you that each of them has a moment or two that they wish that they did.
How do you decide? This is because I've heard these discussions sort of privately off camera about who sits where during the reunions. Because to me, that is always because they know, the cat's out of the bag. So they now know they show up and they're not seated directly to your right or directly to your left. And so they feel less than, correct?
Well, it depends who you ask. Kandi Burruss loved sitting at the end of the couch because she was secure with her place on the show and she was secure with her participation and, how she came off. And she also knew that the people to my left and the right, usually the people to the left and my right are in the most mess or are, the most involved in the drama.
Right.
And so that's why they're there. But it is a science. Bye, Ben.
Bye, Ben. Mima loves you. So which housewife do you wish you had done another season with? Like, was there ever a housewife that just said, "This is not for me, I gotta bounce"?
Right. Lisa Vanderpump, I wish if she had come to that reunion that year, I think that she and Kyle would have been able to work out their differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that she then would have stayed on the show. When Portia left, I said to her, I hope this is a pause. I hope that you're going to come back. And so those are two. And now Portia is coming back. So that's great.
Is Portia divorced?
Portia is not yet divorced, but it's underway.
That's shocking to me.
I
It's so
know.
strange. I only know these people from following them on social media. So here I am. Following the weddings, following all the stuff, following the love. It's love, love, love. And then suddenly it's like, it's over. Pray for me. And I'm like, wait, what happened? It's to the point where you go back and you're like, wait, I must have missed something.
Yes, it's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Yes.
You launched a new show, The Valley, this year.
Bravo did, yes, and it's a big hit.
Bravo shows are revolutionary.
Well,
so give me what your takeaways are after season 1.
I think it's great. I have nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't produce it. But I'm excited that it's such a big hit. And also, it seems like the show where the Vanderpump folks, graduate to. And it seems
You
like
mean the
it's
kids-
like Vanderpump
the kids-
Rules with family. Yeah, the kids who are 40.
Yes.
They now have families, and that's where they go to graduate. And it's great. I think, as a parent, it's really fun to watch as well.
But will you host those reunions?
I will. Yeah. I'm very grateful that I host pretty much every reunion on Bravo, and it's a lot of fun.
I've got to tell you that my favorite part of the Bravo reunions, and it's always my favorite part, is when you do any sort of flashback, whether it's the season before or 10 seasons before, where we remind somebody where a riff started.
Yes,
Because
yes.
when you look at the faces of the housewives, they are so dramatically different.
The evolution of the faces is stunning.
And the bodies.
It's so funny because I have seen so much facial augmentation over the last 18 years since the Orange County Housewives premiered and Watch What Happens Live and all that I can tell good and bad teeth because many housewives have gotten new teeth, and I'm always amazed by the great ones and I'm always amazed by the not great ones. But my filter for what looks normal and what looks good and what looks crazy is so wacky. I have absolutely no filter. It's really weird.
Okay, I've got to tell you that I cannot believe it's been 15 years.
Thank you.
It's been 15 years of absolute, complete entertainment. A real,
Thank you.
In a world where there's so much just anxiety-inducing news, to go and be able to visit our friends in Atlanta, in New York, in New Jersey, in Beverly Hills, in Salt Lake City. You really give us so much, and I thank you for doing our humble podcast. And don't forget to pick up
you for having
Daddy
me.
Diaries. It's in paperback.
Yes.
That is such a manual, that Daddy Diaries. I love it so much. And watch What Happens Live Sundays through Thursdays on Bravo and the next day on Peacock. Thank you very much, Andy Cohen. Bravo, Honcho.
Love you, Kelly.
Love you. Love you, honey. Bye. Bye. That was fun.
Yes.
I didn't get to ask him so many questions because I really am curious who he would save if the boat capsized, Anderson or me.
You like that question?
I do. I think it's a great question, and we should bring that up the next time Andy co-hosts live. That's like a good. That's a good because I want to see the look on his face when he tells me he would save Anderson. He'll lie and tell me he'll save me, but I know it's Anderson.
Have you been watching Vanderpump Rules or no? You don't.
I've never watched Vanderpump Rules. I famously have never watched it. It's Jake Shear's favorite show.
Wow.
It's a lot of my friends' favorite show. And I've never seen an episode besides that 3-part reunion.
Well, what's making me crazy about this show is, and Roz, you can tell me, because Roz is a super fan too.
Okay.
But what's making me crazy is like, I want to shake this Ariana. I know, obviously, it's so, she got cheated on. He was cheating with her best friend. I get it. But it skyrocketed you. It literally changed your whole career, your whole life. Like you're now everybody's like favorite person. Let it go. Like,
is she now the victim?
She's the victim, but like it's like she can't let it go. It's so this whole season is her being like so upset and mad, and she doesn't want to like move out of the house. They're both still living in the house. I'm like, let it go. You are Dancing with the Stars. You're on Broadway. Like, let it go. This is the best thing that ever happened to you.
Right.
It's the best thing that ever happened to you.
It has really propelled her career.
Walk away. Like, it makes me nuts.
Walk away, head held high.
Yeah.
Don't mean to trash the girl, but like walk away.
Right.
Like, get away.
Also, Jan.
Yes.
And I have to say this for our listeners.
I know what you're going to say.
Is one of the most Jan is one of the most stoic people I have ever met. Like, if I had to be tortured to death with someone, I would want to be tortured to death. Not that I want you tortured to death, but I would want to be tortured to death with you because you would show me how to do it elegantly and stoically.
That means she's saving me in the tsunami, not you.
In the tsunami, yes. In the tsunami. I would throw myself headfirst into the tsunami and save both of you. Be like, take me to do the tsunami, save my friends. Well, I guess that's it. That's it. Problem solved. We've solved all of the world's problems. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And don't forget to give us 5 stars.
That's right.
Or Jan gets pissed and she will hunt you down. Also, while you're at it, check out our Instagram at Let's Talk Off Camera. I should follow that.
I think you do.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay, I don't really pay attention to Instagram. For sneak peeks at upcoming guests. That's it. That's all I got for you. Bye, everyone. Woo-hoo. We'll talk off camera next week. Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa is a production of Melojo Productions with help from Goat Rodeo. Our theme song is Follow Me from APM Music. From Melojo, our team is Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos, Albert Bianchini, Jan Chalet, Devin Schneider, Michael Halpern, Jacob Small, Roz Therian, Seth Gronquist, and Julia Desch. From Goat Rodeo, our team is Kara Schillen, Megan Nadolski, Max Johnston, Isabel Kirby McGowan, and Rebecca Seidel. Additional sound design by Terrence Bernardo. This show is powered by Stitcher.